If I could go back and restart my SEO career, I would do almost everything differently. It would have saved me 3 years of mistakes, wasted work, and terrible advice. Today, I run a 7-figure SEO agency working with 25 plus 7 to 9-figure Shopify brands. But it wasn't always that way. I started in local SEO, I broke half of the quote unquote rules, and I learned most of this the hard way. Now, these are not textbook lessons you can go read on some SEO blog. These are lessons I learned by screwing things up, spending way too much money, over optimizing the wrong things, trusting the wrong advice, and believing that SEO took years to work. So if you're doing SEO right now, or if you're an ecom brand thinking about doing SEO, watch the rest of this video and see the lessons that it took me years to figure out. Let's start with how I actually learned my lessons. So I mentioned I started my career at a local SEO agency completely on accident. Dropped out of grad school, marine biology. That was in 2020. I heard about SEO during 2019 during a summer internship, which is working for an e-commerce brand, and I picked it back up after dropping out. I learned via Backlinko, Brian Gain, YouTube, purely self-taught. Then I started freelancing, work with personal fitness brands, some personal injury lawyers, some B2B brands or companies, and then a few e-commerce brands. I have freelance for 2 years, and then I went all in on e-com. That was 2022, 2025 now, and I'm running New C's 7-figure Shopify SEO agency. So these are all the lessons I've learned, the next 9 lessons I've learned over the course of the last 3 years to save you, hopefully, 3 years of wasted time. So lesson number 1, and probably the most important one, move with speed. The biggest SEO advantage that you will ever have, no matter who you're competing against, is you can execute quickly. You can always execute faster than someone. This applies especially if you are a smaller, more agile brand, agency, freelancer, whatever. The first 6 months of my local SEO agency life / first 6 months of my SEO career, all I did was run SEMrush crawls and read about building backlinks. I was literally doing nothing. I couldn't do anything. I was totally hamstrung by my agency. I didn't optimize any pages. I didn't hardly do any technical SEO work. And honestly, it was a waste of their time and my time and their money to pay me. Like, honestly, I believe that now. We can't do that without building a client who definitely won't pay for it. So I was just stuck, just waiting for things to happen. Okay. I started updating location pages without telling my agency or without client approval, emailing local businesses, asking them for link exchanges. At the time, we didn't have any money in any of the client's budget to ask for link or to pay for links. So I was just cold emailing like all these different companies asking for exchanges, and I started building exchanges across our network of clients. Wasn't telling anyone I was doing this, but I was getting results immediately. Now, I was 24. I thought I had the whole world figured out. I didn't. I was getting paid $12 an hour. Looking back, it was dumb to quit, but obviously it worked out. I quit in 2 months after figuring out that I could get results just by, optimizing these pages, building these links, things like that. So I quit after 2 months to start freelancing. Since then, I have made it a point to not waste 6 months just waiting for shit to happen or 6 months to, start in many things. I've just started executing lightning fast for every single thing I do. Okay. Technical SEO at our agency is done in now the first 7 days of any new campaign. All existing pages optimized in the first 30 days. Our first backlinks and Reddit comments for brands are built within the first 10 days of a client signing the contract. Doing things with speed will shatter the SEO take 6 to 12 months frame that has been so long peddled, right? The reason people say it takes a long time is because shit doesn't get done very fast, right? You go talk to an enterprise SEO, they're still trying to get a technical SEO element approved from 90 days ago, right? It takes a long time because the bigger the organization you work in becomes, or as an agency working with a bigger and bigger company, there are more people that it has to go through and things get lost. It takes so much time because it takes 3 months to implement anything, right? As an agency working with 7, 8, 9 figure brands, the way we position ourselves and the way we communicate to clients is that we are going to move fast. This is not a move fast, break shit mentality like you've heard in the tech world. But if we move fast, we get things done, we build better rapport with our clients because we get them better results faster than any other SEO they've ever worked with. Okay. Now, if you're doing this for yourself, if you go build, if your competitor goes and builds 10 pages in the next 30 days, you should go build 20 pages in the next 15 days. If you do more faster, you will beat them. Simple as that. You're going to get results faster. You're going to have more data to make better decisions down the road, right? If it takes you 30 days to build 10 pages, well, it shouldn't. But let's say it takes you a day to build those 10 pages, okay? While you were waiting to perfect the publishing for those 10 pages in 30 days, your competitor did it in 1 day. They've got 29 more days of data than you do, okay? Publish fast, execute fast all the time, and you will thank yourself. I guarantee you. This is the number one biggest lesson I've learned in my years, and I continue to get faster. Number 2, break the rules. Good example. I use it all the time. Google says that buying links is against their spam guidelines. It totally is. You can definitely go verify that if you don't believe me. Here's what I will say. Buying bad links will be a waste of your money and your time, definitely, and it'll probably get you penalized. However, number 2, you can buy backlinks with a good QA system and be handsomely rewarded with number 1 rankings. This is what we do. Number 3, buying backlinks is more predictable, scalable, and profitable than earned backlinks, okay? If you get an average link cost of like $200 or $250, you know you can build X amount of links within this amount of budget, and you can scale that budget infinitely as you grow, right? Earning backlinks requires too much input from other people and not enough predictability. Buying backlinks, more predictable, more scalable, more profitable, okay? If you don't break the rules and you try to earn backlinks forever, your competitors will be simple as that. Number three lesson. Do not think that everything applies to you. The same rules that apply to enterprise SEOs do not apply to 8-figure Shopify brands, nor do they apply to your local plumber or your favorite SaaS tool. Simple as that. Just because an enterprise SEO says that technical SEO is the most critical element of success does not mean that same logic should apply to your brand. If you run a D2C brand with like less than 20 SKUs, technical SEO is going to be near worthless to you, minus a few key fundamentals. If you run a site with thousands of SKUs, yeah, technical SEO is going to be very important, okay? But the approaches you take to SEO for different size brands, just as you take to different business industries, like local versus SaaS versus B2B versus econ, everything's going to change. Local citations, another example, and Google Business Reviews are a huge ranking factor for local. We don't do any of that for e-commerce. Why would we? We're not a local business. Take in information as you can, right? I do believe you should get SEO. I do believe you should learn about SEO and other categories to make yourself more well-rounded. However, you're going to have to filter out information that sounds wildly outlandish, or you flat out know right away the first time you hear it that it's not going to work for you. The information you think may be relevant, test if it works for you. Do not blindly accept everything as fact. I say building links is good. I say buying and building links is a good thing, right? You may have a different experience. Now, you may have done it wrong, but you need to test it before you just write something off, either positively or negative. So test what you think may work, validate your own test, take it or leave it after that. Mistake number 4, automate 80%, not 100%. This is a unique one and maybe a bit of a hot take here. I've spent over $50,000 this year on external agencies, in-house hires, and software tools to automate as much of our agency processes, workflows, structure, what have you, as possible. $10,000 of that was a complete waste of money. You cannot automate everything, despite what vibe coders or SaaS bros may tell you. I wish I could, totally wish I could. It would make my life probably a lot easier. However, automating 100% of your SEO workflows or your SEO will not make you a better SEO. Just off the top of my head, we tried to automate internal linking, digital PR, Shopify publishing, and like 10 other things this year. We got 80% of them right. The last 20% actually made us worse. There are internal linking SaaS tools out there. I do not believe that they are going to deliver you a better outcome than doing internal linking manually. We do it manually for all of our clients. We have way more control, way more input. We get better results because of it. Digital PR cannot be automated at scale without humans. I and many other people have tried to send out AI pitches as a form of digital PR. It doesn't work that well. I know some people have cracked it on one-off occasions. It's not repeatable or scalable. I just don't. It's not. Other example, we tried to automate blog publishing from Google Docs to Shopify with a few different APIs and webhooks. With the amount of variability in our client's theme code across 25 to 30 brands at a time, we ran into so many formatting issues, right? We still have some unpublished blogs manually. Does it take time? Yes. However, it is part of we are a bespoke agency working with all these different kinds of brands. If we forced all brands onto the same theme template, well, that wouldn't be very cool of us, first of all, and also wouldn't really align with their brand. So the automation for that part had to take a back seat. AI and automation, you should be using them to do grunt work and get you 80% of the way there. Take care of the final 20% yourself. Good example of how we do this. Content. We have never posted any purely unedited AI content ever for any client or agency. However, it would be unwise, too slow, and quite frankly, financially irresponsible to not use AI to draft content. However, it also must run through our content team before it even goes to the client and then goes to publishing. AI content is going to get you 80% of the way there. Even with the best workflows in the world, I think it's like 80-90% of the time. They're 80-90% of the way there. The remaining 10-20% absolutely has to get looked at by a human. Has to. So don't try to automate 100% of everything. Automate 80%. Take the last 20% yourself. Number 5, volume wins. This is very similar to kind of like the move fast and break shit kind of principle. We used to build 5 collections a month for clients when we first started. Then we increased it to 10. Now we do 15 to 20. We've actually done as many as 110 in a single month for a single client. Why? We got better the more we shipped. Like, simple as that. More volume equals more results. Basically, you take more shots, you score more goals. Okay. Now, part of the reason we're able to build more collections now is because of AI, right? 5 manually 4 years ago took time. Now we can do 20 in less amount of time for a better quality output. However, we're also doing it because the more shots we take on goal, the more pages we get to rank, the more money the client gets to make. Simple as that. Number 6, be quick to pivot. SEO is currently in one of the biggest changes in decades with LLMs. It's not just Google anymore. It's now Google and ChatGPT and Perplexity and Claude. And you want to go down even further rabbit hole, and Bing and Yahoo and all these other engines, okay? If you are still operating and executing on 2020 era SEO tactics, you are going to lose. You will. You have to try new tactics constantly. You have to adopt what works and drop what doesn't. The SEOs on the cutting edge of new tactics will make the most money. I just went to an SEO mastermind, private mastermind last week, and in London, there are tons of tactics being tried that these guys were doing that I've never even heard of. These people are going to make a lot of money. They're probably going to burn some money testing these new things out. However, when they find it, they're kind of like investors, right? You're gonna invest in 100 companies. One or two of these companies is going to deliver you outsized returns. The other 98.99 are not going to do anything at all, right? A lot of tests you run you will not learn anything. However, a lot of tests you'll run will uncover new tactics that are going to work at scale, and you're going to make a lot of money as a result. Number 7, don't invest in SEO too early. Bit of a weird take, but we actually don't work with any brands at our agency that do less than $100,000 in monthly revenue or cannot generate a meaningful return on our services. So let me break each of those down. You should do it if you're an e-commerce brand. You should do SEO in-house until you can afford to spend $3,000 per month. In my experience, that number becomes comfortable around the $100K per month mark. Okay. Now, again, that's my experience. That's my average recommendation for e-commerce brands. These numbers will, of course, vary if you run a SaaS company, a local business, a B2B company, whatever, right? E-com margins are vastly different from local companies, as they are vastly different from SaaS, B2B, things like that, right? My margins are, for example, as a B2B agency, are much different than of some of the clients we work with, as an example, okay? Second, cannot generate a meaningful return. I turned down a brand this week who had an AOV of like 75 or $80, and their main keyword was only 2,000 searches per month. Even if we rank number 1 based on that AOV and a very, very aggressive conversion rate, like overconfident conversion rate, they were going to make less money. Like, the projected amount of money they would make from SEO was less than what we were going to charge them. So I just flat out told them, like, it's not going to work. It doesn't make any sense financially for them. This was after they had already burned cash working with an SEO agency. Now, the other SEO agency didn't give a shit. They were just going to charge them and wait to get fired in 6 or 8 months, which is exactly what happened. As an SEO agency, I believe you have an ethical obligation to tell brands or clients if it's worth it or not worth it, honestly. If you don't, well, I definitely don't trust you. But let me use a better example with some actual numbers. So let's say your main keyword is only 500 searches a month. That would be for most e-com brands, that's really low. Let's say your AOV is $100. Okay, we're using very clean numbers here. AOV is 100. Main keyword is 500 searches per month. The average click-through rate, if you rank in position 1, is about 25%, which would equate to 125 visits a month based on 500 searches per month. 2% conversion rate, which I would say is pretty generous on cold organic search traffic. It's probably more like 1%. But let's say 2%. Let's say it's nice, and let's say you convert great. I don't know. That is only 2.5 conversions per month at a 2% conversion rate on the 125 visits. That's how we get 2.5 conversions per month. Okay. Based on your AOV, 2.5 conversions per month would yield about $250 in potential revenue based on AOV. That is less than 10% of the fees we charge. It would be, you would lose money. Simple, right? Now, the only way number 2 can change is if you sell a crazy high AOV product. Saunas, cold plunges, think like $1,000 plus, right? If your AOV is $1,000 plus, well, you don't need a lot of visits per month, and you're going to convert poorly because it's so damn expensive. But however, like we were with a $50,000 hot tub brand, like they sell $50,000 hot tubs online, okay? The traffic isn't that high, conversion rate's not that high, but when they sell a hot tub, I mean, it's $50,000 worth, right? So that works because of the high AOV. I know another guy, actually I met him a couple weeks ago. He does SEO for a brand that sells cryogenic chambers, right? Search volume is like under 1,000, but the products are like $100,000. So AOV being 100,000 plus means that you can operate with a lower search volume, right? It's the same thing that could apply to like a B2B or wholesale style company, right? If you're trying to sell like, wholesale t-shirts, for example, like the search volume is going to be really low, but your AOV is going to be a lot higher. Okay. So if you can increase your AOV into like about a couple $100 minimum, but ideally a couple $1,000, you can deal with a low search volume. Okay. But what I will say, like just recapping number 7, if you can't afford to do SEO for a few months, like at 3K, like don't bother. Just spend your money on ads or anything else simply. And if you can't generate a meaningful return, it could just be because the category you're in is either not like currently big enough where there's enough search demand, or it's just a new category and it's not yet the volume of search demand. If that's the case, your money is better spent on demand generation, not demand conversion channels. So think meta ads, right? Not Google ads or SEO. Number 8, and final tip, don't do anything because you think you should do it. Good example is blog content. I talked to a lot of brands, consulting and otherwise, who are like, should we write blogs once a week just to keep our site fresh? No. You're a founder or a CMO or a head of e-commerce or whatever. You've got way more important shit to do than write blogs just to keep your site fresh. Don't do anything because you think you should do some SEO. Another good example is like people thinking they should spend their time improving their page speed by 1%. Because they heard it'll help with SEO. 1%, I don't do anything for 1% gains. Like I'm looking for 10, 20% gains at all times. That's it. If it's 1%, like I can pick it up elsewhere. That is kind of my rule of thumb. I believe if you're doing SEO, you should only do any SEO because you believe they're going to deliver an outsized return on your time and money. Things like building backlinks, optimizing existing products and collections to rank higher, fixing broken backlinks, creating competitor comparison blocks to hijack other brands' branded search traffic, building branded Reddit comments. Again, you should only do things that will make you money, not just waste your time. You cannot get trapped in a cycle of busy work. Otherwise, you're going to be ignoring other parts of your SEO or even worse, other parts of your entire business.